I am Suyash Maheshwari and my thesis is called Garden of Existential Spaces. The thesis is an attempt to develop an architecture in purview to the feeling of consciousness of one's own existence. The stemming point of this thesis was a journey to Finland and a month-long stay at the Sainatsalo town hall. Immersing in the life of Sainatsalo, I absorbed the importance of architectural experience in making one truly feel present. It made me question, how could one feel truly connected to his soul, sharply aware of his surroundings, and yet lost within a landscape of life like nobody existed? It comes about through the idea of presence. But what is presence? Zumthor defines presence as a gap in the flow of history, where all of a sudden it is not past and it is not future. I had experienced this idea of presence in the melancholic landscapes of Finland. I tried to live those moments again by painting what I remember. But what one has to question is that how does architecture bring about a sense of consciousness? The only answer I could think of for this inquiry of mine was an intangible and inexpressible one. It were my own moments of self reflection and gaining consciousness while I travelled and visited places. Places that would move me, places that would make me kneel down, places that would make me take a deep breath and close my eyes. I should let these spaces speak for themselves. One of the most exciting ideas that came through my experimentation with contemplating about these spaces was the idea of the garden and the monument. One such atmosphere, where this timeless stretch of civilization has left marks of its presence in the city, is the city of Delhi, ruled and overthrown, built and demolished by many who were celebrated and cremated. In the bustle of the metropolitan life of today's Delhi, one finds bits and pieces of markers of this history, like tombs, mosques, pavilions, and fort walls trapped within the city. The idea of the monuments in the garden strongly resonates with this quality without a name. At the Lodi Garden, the timelessness of the monument is evidently visible in contrast to the temporal nature of the maintained landscape in front of it. Here, the monuments behave like timeless objects within a landscape surrounded by the modern heritage of New India. As I started my research for site, I was lucky enough to get a map of the garden with each and every tree documented and marked on it by Intac. So that's how my study started. The grid was quite evident on the map, so initially I decided to keep the grid for further studies. The first thing I did was to curate all the information I had about the place into a common readable format. I made drawings that spoke about the tree foliage, contour levels, crowd density, and the cadence of the garden, thinking that I could get something out of it. As I overlapped all of these maps, I got something like this. Although the drawing could be of utmost importance to some, I felt the need of bringing the nature of spaces in the garden on paper, which made me make this huge collage. The collage, of course, in parallel to the analysis drawings, helped me a lot in understanding the nuances of the garden and walking through it, which in turn would lead me to my interventions. The first thing that I felt was needed after the collage was a master drawing that would talk about the nature of spaces, textures, flora, fauna, monuments, and activities of the garden and its surroundings. This historical garden is located in New Delhi around some of the most iconic modern buildings of New India, one of them being the India International Center by Joseph Allenstein. In parallel to the study of the garden, I started thinking what is the appropriate programmatic response to this idea in context of the garden and the desires of its users. The gardens have seen a dynamic history of recontextualization according to its users and designers throughout hundreds of years, and hence the intervention proposes to do the same. With advancement in technologies today, we as a civilization are in a state where everything is dependent on each other, and a failure of one would mean a total collapse of all others. The civilization is in a fragile state. There is a sheer need. There is a sheer need for one to recognize this fragile state we are in and the factors that affect it. One needs to feel his presence in each of the factors that affect it to be able to think critically. The intervention aims at building atmospheres in the garden that deal with the idea of presence within nature, presence within culture, presence within infrastructure, and presence within knowledge. The interventions try to focus on making one realize his own presence within these aspects of the civilization. Now I shall be explaining the different interventions that I am proposing in the garden in detail. The first intervention is the Visitors Center, which is located at the main entrance Ashoka Gate of the Lodi Gardens. It is imagined to be a space that evokes one's consciousness towards nature by curating a walk within some of the most beautiful species of flora and fauna found in the garden. It consists of an existing bus stop with a proposed plaza next to it that becomes a food hub. As one enters the garden, she encounters a fragmented snake like structure floating over the ground, within trees, weaved with a cycling track. Different pavilions address different aspects of nature: water, light, trees, and air. The circulation spaces become galleries and exhibits that one encounters while walking. It intends to create a contemplative atmosphere to make one realize the importance of gentleness towards nature. It negotiates with the surrounding institutions to break the physical barriers and invite visitors from all sides. The cultural center, located right in front of the Bada Gumbad monument, is imagined to be a place that evokes one's feeling of presence within a large group of people within society by creating different spaces of meeting, learning, and performing. As one walks ahead from the visitors center, one experiences the monumentality of Bada Gumbad and is awed by its scale. The cultural center intends to retain this monumentality of the monument and hence is tucked underground with plinths, plazas, and ramps arranged in such a manner that they create incredible viewing frames towards the Gumbad that exaggerates its presence. Four tall Ashoka trees, exactly 8 meters apart, stand straight right adjacent to the Sheesh Gumbad over a small mound. It forms the perfect frame to observe the Gumbad in its completeness. An arched pavilion around each of these trees is imagined. It becomes a space to sit, relax, have a picnic, or just sunbath and contemplate. A water body around its plinth reflects the clear blue sky and sometimes, if the angle is perfect, the dome of the Sheesh Gumbad. One is awed by the nature of architecture, stillness of water, feeling of the cold wind under a warm sun, and the birds chirping around the trees. It becomes the perfect place to be in on a winter Sunday afternoon. On the corner of the Lodi lake that is said to contain the water of river Yamuna, a step well is located. This is not the traditional 500-year-old step well. This is the step well of 2020. A jungle of slender steel arches and floor plates stacked and cascading towards water. It creates spaces of different gradients for people to rest under shadows. It acts like a dam reservoir with floodgates that open when needed. The India International Centre originally was intended to be a part of the scheme of gardens, but its slow gentrification made it an exclusive space and boundaries were created on all four of its sides. The arcade and the water body are proposed so as to negotiate with this idea of boundary as a visual and physical barrier. It starts with a water tower from the service zone of IIC using its water to create a channel of flow. The water body separates the garden from the VIP area of the IIC physically, but a visual connection is created. The arcade under the water channel acts as a threshold between the center's public spaces and the garden, and movement is allowed. One walks straight from the Sheesh Gumbad, straight left from the Sheesh Gumbad from the middle of trees into an open platform market for local artisans. A steel ramp lifts him up by 5 meters and bridges across to a steel structure that seems to hang with the trees with balconies and open areas. One feels complete silence in the presence of warm sunlight. It's the library. He chooses an apt space to sit and read. As one walks beyond the Sheesh Gumbad, she sees herself standing in front of a vast, open, lush green Maidan with slight mounds and depressions. She can't not notice a group of dense purple-green trees on one corner of the Maidan with a brick paving around them. As she walks closer, she gets the smell of fresh jamuns hanging beneath them. There are ladders to climb and pluck a few jamuns. One can sit beneath and eat the juicy fruits. As one stands and walks, she can feel the silence of time passing by and realize her presence in a moment of infinite time. It is the pleasure of walking in a beautiful garden. Previously a rose garden, the memorial is a vast open meadow near the Sheesh Gumbad Pavilion and the IIC arcade, that has tombstones of a few of the so-called common people who gave up their lives for things that were never realizes the importance of otherwise. The memorial intends to create a surreal atmosphere within the garden for one to realize such things. The image of the graveyard make one think about the death and contemplate life in general as he walks by. The strong axis cutting across the garden ends with a watchtower with an offsetted plinth. One can climb up to see the garden in its entirety and recollect the experience he has had. He notices the monuments and the floating objects in bits and pieces. He tries to join the dots only to realize the striated nature of the garden, a world within itself. He sits back and relaxes. The plaza is located at the back entry of the garden, which has a marketplace for local hawkers to sell goods and foods. The plaza acts as an interactive space for people leaving the garden and the ones entering it. It also has all the necessary services required, like drinking water stands and toilets. A water treatment unit is located on entrance number 11 right next to the India International Centre. All the waste rainwater that leaves IIC is planned to be collected here and is treated via exposing it to natural light and air. The composting center is located on the front edge of the garden. It is planned in a manner where the existing rainwater lateral shafts can be used and the two new biogas plants are to be attached that can compost all the dry and wet waste like fallen leaves and cut grass to create biogas. The plantation center is located right next to the glass house, which is actually a huge nursery for small plants and flowers that can be transported throughout the city to be planted around roads and circles by New Delhi Municipal Corporation. In this manner, the garden becomes the birthplace for the new greenery in the city. The plantation center is also a caretaking center for all the flora and fauna of the garden, with vans and carts that can be deployed in the garden to take care of the damaged trees. Now I shall be explaining the visitors center in detail. It is located on the main entrance gate of the garden. The objective of the building is to create a feeling of reverence towards nature in the heart of the visitor. The building is formed by using the idea of destination space, transition space, and sequence, where destination space becomes a space of pause. The yellow pavilions are intended to be destinations but are programless anchors of the other fragments of the building. The transition spaces act as programmed exhibits and galleries which one can encounter while walking. Delhi being a dry scrubland area, there is always a reverence towards collecting water. Each pavilion has a bowl-like structure on top of it that holds water, which is then used to change the atmosphere of the space below it, either through filtered light or by falling water. This water is transported through channels to the pond in the center. These are some of the process sketches that I made while exploring how to translate the idea into a building. As the design evolved, all the proportions were inspired by the scale of the most evident monument on site, the Sheesh Gumbad. The sectional experience was developed through the proportions of Sainath Salo Town Hall by evolving the idea of compression and expansion during transition. Next, I'll be showing two plans, the ground and the first floor of the Visitors Center. As you can see, the ground floor is intended to be kept completely open and most of the spaces act as transition spaces or spaces of pause. The building is anchored by 4 squares, which are the pavilions, which are connected via ramps and bridges. The building seems to hover over the ground, giving the visitor a feeling as if he were gliding in air. The central water body is actually a catchment area which has been designed to adapt to the actual contours of the site. It will be used to store all the rainwater that falls around it for at least 1 year. The building touches the ground very lightly with steel columns and plinths that merge with the landscape. Structurally, the circulation spaces are suspended in air via portal frames, and the pavilions are actually just 4 slender steel columns with flat slabs. These are zoomed in sections of the plan, and they are labeled with detailed programs and its areas. You can pause the video to go through them. This section of the building speaks about how one makes a transition from one pavilion to another via a suspended bridge or ramp, which is actually a permanent gallery. A cycling bridge goes across from beneath it. The ground plane is left naturally landscaped with steps forming seating and interaction spots. This is another cross section through the pavilion of water, which shows falling water into the catchment area and the series of arches and flying bridge that creates an incredible viewing spot for the Bada Gumbad. It can also be noticed that the scale of the pavilion is kept such that it neither overpowers the monument and nor does it underestimate itself. These are some detailed sections through the pavilions and other spaces that talk about the materiality and construction of the building. This exploded axonometric tries to explain the structural system of a pavilion which is common to each of them. Two flat slabs stand one over the other on four slender solid steel columns over which rests the water catchment bowl. The facades have arches on all sides with a sequence of machine-cut Jodhpur Kota stones that sandwich a steel framework. A minimal steel staircase lifts one up on the upper plane. As the building intends to damage the site in the least manner possible, it would be atrocious to dig deep underground and fit in an underground tank or to create new toilets. These are calculations to justify the fact that no new water storage tank is needed and only 3 extra WCs are needed, as the existing peripheral services that lie less than 100 meters away from the building can be used very easily. These are the calculations for rainwater harvesting and the size of the catchment area that is needed to store water equivalent to 1 year's rainfall in Delhi. Next is the cultural center, which is located right in front of the Bada Gumbad, which is a space for performance and celebration. The building is formed by using the idea of viewpoints, perspectives, sight lines generating from the site itself. The weird looking angles are actually angles that frame the monument in front of it. These are some process sketches. The form of the building is also somehow inspired by Vasily Kandinsky's paintings, which are similar to one in the center. The cultural center is actually just a lower ground plane that is tucked beneath the plinth level of the Gumbad. It consists of a stage, a cafeteria, dance creativity studio, and a theatre workshop with an amphitheatre and green rooms. I shall be explaining the lower ground floor plan program wise. As one walks through the entry ramp, one reaches a point where his cone of vision is such that he can see the tiles of the Shish Gumbad through the window of the Bada Gumbad. This angle and depth of the ramp have been decorated very precisely in order of that to happen. As one reaches down the plaza, an informal seating area is there where people can grab a bite and go inside the open studio and read newspapers, interact with other people, or just sit in peace. On the left is the smaller courtyard that acts as a spill out space for the creativity studio, which is majorly a dance and music studio during weekdays and can be rented by others on the weekend for art and craft classes, etc., with storage spaces and changing rooms. There is also an administrative office and a registration counter right next to the studio. The service entry in front of the dance studio leads to the other side of the building, which is the bigger courtyard, the performance space, and the green rooms. Its opposite side has a theatre workshop and an audiovisual room for the participants. As you can notice, the walls are sheared down to an angle of 60 degrees so that whenever one sits on the ground, they can easily see the Bada Gumbad above the sunken courtyard. In the long section, you can see how the scale of the building is maintained in a manner that it doesn't disturb the setting of the monument at all. It instead exaggerates the presence of the monument by bowing down beneath it and making it look more grand. You can also see the scales of the courtyards and different arched spaces in the cross section of the building. These are some detailed sections through courtyards and workshops that talk about the materiality and construction of the building. These are once again calculations for the requirement of water and toilets for the building and justification of the fact that the peripheral services can easily be used. I also roughly have made some sketches to explain the idea of the Shish Gumbad pavilion and the arches and the step well. Thank you.